It's simple to see, it's Ed Magic TV, so the world can believe it's Ed Magic TV.
Welcome to Ed Magic TV. This is Ed Magic right here at Volum Couture with Mr. Freeway Ricky Ross. We're going to call him Freeway Rick from throughout this conversation. How you doing, Mr. Ross?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, just wonderful. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you this one question just to start it off. After all that you've experienced, witnessed, and survived in life, who is Ricky Ross today?
Wow, that's deep, man. I'm a lot of things, man. A father, you know what I'm saying? A leader, teacher, a follower, you know what I'm saying? A helper. Man, I don't even know where to start. You know, there's so many things that would take to define me. A survivor, somebody that's gonna make it no matter what happens. You know, I believe if an explosion came and nobody else made it, I believe that I'm supposed to make it. You know, when I ride on the airplane and I'm saying, man, if this plane crashed, I got to come out of it alive. So I just look at myself now in a total different light than I ever did before.
Okay. Well, how did you look at yourself before?
Wow. I used to have low self-esteem of myself, you know, and it took me going to prison and to really get to know myself, to figure out, you know, how I really judge myself, you know, and what I really thought. Because a lot of times what I found out is that we'll think things in our mind, but that won't be what's on the surface. You know, the surface is not really what it is. You know, the surface may be fly and happy, but really down inside, you're miserable and sad. And what I found out about myself is that I didn't think that I was as good as everybody else. You know, I thought that I was lower than certain people. You know, if I saw somebody had a nice pair of tennis shoes on, or they drove a nice car, or stayed in a nice house, I felt that they were better than me. And now that I know that no matter how much money you got or how smart you are, that you really know better than anybody else, you know, we're all the same. Right. And your life is no important than mine, and mine is no more important than yours.
All right. You know, the past is history, but to eliminate any confusion and rumors, what was your original prison sentence?
My original sentence was a life sentence without the possibility of parole. It was reduced down to 20 years. Then I had the 20 years reduced down to 17 and a half.
Okay. Do you think that original sentence was harsh, considering that the offense committed was a nonviolent?
Absolutely. I think that the drug laws are really insane. I think the drugs should be dealt with as a medical problem. You know, you shouldn't lock somebody up because they get high. I mean, because when you look at it, they didn't hurt anybody but themselves. You know. When it becomes violent, or when you start to violate other people's rights, is when I think that it should be criminal. I mean, if I want to take all the drugs that I want to and hurt myself, then that should be up to me. And in dealing drugs, you know, when you deal drugs, you're selling drugs to people who want to buy drugs. You know, you're not taking a gun and forcing anybody to buy them. So I think that the whole prohibition, which we know from alcohol, it didn't work with alcohol, it hasn't worked with cocaine. We've been fighting this war on drugs for 40 years almost, spent billions and billions of dollars. I mean, how long are they going to allow our government to study, rob and rape the citizens of their money, you know, while they pour it into this war on drugs that they know they can't win?
That was interesting that you said that, because my next question was going to be, do you think America has won the war on drugs, considering that it seems like the focus has shifted from drugs now to more international politics and war and in the Middle East and things like that? You know,
there's no way you can win the war on drugs as long as there's a demand for drugs, people are going to buy it. And one of the ways you can tell that they're not winning is because the price of drugs. You know, when I started selling cocaine, a key was around $75,000, $80,000. I think now you can get a key for $8,000 or $9,000. So that shows you how miserable the war on drugs is doing. There's plenty of drugs around, and the prices dropped to reflect that.
I don't want to talk too much about the situation that you were in prison, but I think this is really important. While you were in prison, what did you do to change your life, and how did you go about overcoming your situation?
I became literate. I went from being illiterate to becoming probably over-literate. I think right now that there's not many people on the planet that is sharp as I am or as read as I am. I read, some weeks I would read two books a week. In some weeks, I read at least 300 books while I was in prison. I read the Wall Street Journal every day, the LA Times, and the USA Today. I read Time magazine, Forbes magazine. I became very, very read. I went from being a no reader to a total reader. When I went to bed at night, most nights I went to bed sleep with a book on my chest or next to my pillow. When I woke up in the morning, before I got out of bed and did my exercise, I'd read a few paragraphs out of my book. I was reading about these guys, Puffy, Master P, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, and all of them. And I was like, you know what? I want to be better than all these guys. I want to outdo all of them. I don't want none of them to be better than me. So I was sitting there and I said, well, what can I do that they're not doing? And one thing came to me was read.
That's impressive. I'm sure you've been asked this question countless times, but tell me, if you were to rewrite any line of your story differently, what changes would you have made? Or, you know, how would you think your life would have been had you not been introduced to the drug game?
Nah, that's crazy to say. I don't know. What was I going to be introduced to? You know, everything that we do comes from exposure. You know, what we brought to our attention, what's pointed out to us. I don't know. I could have been anything that I wanted to be. I know that now. You know, that I could have been a lawyer. Probably could have been a doctor. You know, I mean, it's wide open. The President of the United States, maybe. I mean, it's wide open to, and not only that, though. I mean, not what I could have been, what am I going to be? Because, see, I still got a second chance. You know, my life is just starting. It's the second half of the life, and now I learned from all those things that I went through. So now I'm applying all of those to the things that I'm doing right now. And right now, I don't know how far this could go. You know, I mean, it really baffles me, just how far and just how many things that I'm able to do right now, and in only 18 months, 20 months that I've been out of prison. It's crazy that I'm able to do these things. You know, I'm baffled with it. You know, like, wow, Rick, what? you thought this was going to take 5 years, 10 years, and it's happening in 18 months. So I don't know. We're going to see. You know, just that question you asked is what I'm trying to do with the second half. Okay.
All right. Well, I'd like to talk about that a little bit further about what you're going to be doing. But first, there's definitely a couple more things I'd like to ask you. You know, what advice would you have for like present time drug dealers?
You're wasting some good talent. Yeah, man. First of all, I respect drug dealers. I think that they're some of the smartest people on the planet, and they got a bunch of them in prison that will run circles around these dudes out here on the streets. But if you take it and you use it to where the system can lock you up, because I think that the drugs have become a way that they've been able to weed all of our true entrepreneurs, our trailblazers, out of our community. I think that's the way they do it, because they know that we're going to be attracted to something. And they know that the guys who, when you're a trailblazer, you're going to be the first one to jump on it. and they threw the drugs in our community so that these guys would jump on it, and then they'll lock them up and take them out of the community, and then they won't teach the rest of the community.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take a little break, but when we come back, I'd like for you to take a look at this video, and we ask you a couple questions about it, and we'll move forward.
Back from the dead. Back from the dead.
West Coast.
We're in the house.